friend's sister was openly flirting with my husband in front of me. I, 31 years old female, am close friends with Lisa, 33 years old female. We met at college and became roommates, and I love her to death. Lisa has a sister, Amy, in her 20s female, whom I've met occasionally in college, but she was so young at that time, we never really hung out. Lisa had a bridal shower in February, and I financially contributed to most of it since I wasn't able to be there in person to help with the planning. I gave money to Amy to pay for everything, the decor, food, and alcohol. I even paid for an overnight stay at a hotel for all 7 girls. I did all of this because I couldn't make it to her bachelorette party the week before. I had also paid for the limo Amy wanted to host the party in. At the shower I saw Amy, and she was gushing about how I had spent a lot of money on Lisa. I just said if it's for Lisa, I would have paid for anything. Amy was hinting that my job was paying so much money for me to spend on Lisa this much. I'm a new surgeon, just graduated from residency. I got a pay bump, but not a lot. I'm lucky because my husband is supporting me while I go through fellowship. My husband, 40 years old male, is a doctor too, but so much more advanced in his career than me. For my wedding gift, he paid off the remainder of my student loans. He is amazing and I am obsessed with him. Wedding happened in March. My husband and I came for the wedding. Family and close friends were invited to Lisa's parents' place for dinner after. Amy was very handsy with my husband. Even during the wedding she was asking him about his job, how smart he was to be working in the ICU, how hot he was, how he looks like a young Alain Delon blah blah. My husband was giving me signals to come to him and I did. This happened at least 2 more times. At Lisa's parents, Amy was wrapping her arm around my husband's back and was serving him drinks and food. I told Lisa's mom about how Amy's making me and my husband very uncomfortable, and her mom pulled her aside and told her off, I think, because she came out grumpy. She was still acting like a crazed teenager because when we wanted to leave, she wouldn't give my husband his jacket back to him and kept sniffing it. I had a feeling that she was drunk and completely out of it. My husband raised his voice and told her to stop messing around and give it to him. I yelled, "Can you stop being so difficult? You've been shamelessly flirting with my husband in front of me the whole day. Give me the damn jacket and leave us alone." I got a text from Lisa's mom demanding I publicly apologize to Amy, as in post on social media, a heartfelt apology, because some of the guests heard me yell at her and thought I was overreacting and humiliated her. Lisa is on my side and told me Amy has always had gold-digging tendencies and that this isn't the first time she'd done something like this. She flirted with her friend's dad and their next-door neighbor who was married when she thought that they were wealthy. Lisa said that she'll handle it. I already felt so bad I ruined the last moments of her wedding day, and now she has to deal with this. I'm ruminating on this a lot lately and wondering if I should apologize to Amy. I don't want to, but then again, if I did, I would explain exactly what happened and how it merited my reaction to her. Though this might add fuel to the fire, there is so much drama right now and I want to preserve my friendship with Lisa. Are you kidding me? That girl publicly flirted with your husband and showed no respect for you, your husband, or your relationship. You didn't say anything wrong to her, you simply stated the truth. If she and her family didn't like it, it's not your problem. Don't humiliate yourself by apologizing to her, because all you'll accomplish is validating her behavior and essentially telling her that she's free to keep flirting and pursuing your husband. Stop having the spine of a jellyfish and stand your ground. Am I the antagonist for not wanting to pay for the fiancé of my friend's mistakes? My friend Em and I have been close for 17 years. Em's fiancé chose to switch career and become an electrician. So when we were at an event together, they said that if we have a future project at home, we should let them know, as he could really use the experience. It just happened to be in the middle of a bigger renovation of ours, so we talked about it and said that we might as well hire him as our money would go to them. He gave us an offer which sounded a bit expensive, but we didn't really know how much the cost usually is, and we wanted to hire him. Turns out that his hourly salary was almost twice the amount as the other, experienced, workers charged, but we were helping friends and we did accept the offer ourselves, so we shrugged it off. He did a lot of mistakes and he ruined some of the other workers' progress, which meant we had to pay them extra to compensate, but we never mentioned anything. 2 of our rooms don't have functional switches now, but we agreed to hire S, whom we knew were new at his job, so that is on our shoulders. He then accidentally drilled a big hole in one wall and another into a water pipe so that the plumber had to come fix it. He apologized and said that he would pay for the plumber, and we told him no worries. We just assumed that he would fix his mistakes, so there was no need to get upset. 2 weeks after he came again, and I talked to S about the price of the plumber, and I got the feeling that he wasn't going to fix, nor pay to have the 2 big holes fixed. But since all the practical conversations have been through my husband and S, I just told my husband that he should maybe talk to S about it. My husband called him, and as I feared, didn't want to pay or fix it himself, but they had a short discussion, and he ended saying that he could pay for it. A couple of days after, I was meeting with my friend group, but Em wrote in the group chat that she was coming. I asked her if we were okay, and she answered that she needed a break from me. I was very surprised and asked to talk, and we did. She didn't think that she'd pay for the holes and said that it was our responsibility to tell him about any pipes in the walls, which we never heard of. I told her that we believe we have paid more than a fair amount to S, and that it's his responsibility to fix damage he causes. I said a lot that I didn't think this was about me and M since we hired S to do a job, but she disagreed. Afterwards, she wrote me that I could send the bill to her, but they were uninviting us to their wedding and would answer me after. Our other friends tried talking to her and telling her to talk to me, but she refused. I also proposed for all four of us to meet and talk it through. I offered her to pay the bill to save our relationship, but she has answered me nor paid, so we actually ended up paying. Am I the antagonist? You hired a supposed professional who overcharged you, botched the job, and is now using his fiancée to avoid responsibility. M is bitter because her fiancé is an incompetent cheat, and you caught him. Am I the antagonist for wasting my dad's money by attending therapy but no longer participating? My father enrolled me, age 15 male, in therapy last year. I was reluctant to attend, but he insisted it was necessary, based on a suggestion from his wife who is a teacher. Therapy sessions are meant to be private between the client and the therapist. I got along well with the therapist and we had honest discussions, completing the assigned homework diligently. I later discovered that the therapist was sharing everything I disclosed with my father. The revelation came 3 weeks ago during a regular Tuesday session. The following day, my father returned home late from work and confronted me about what I had discussed in therapy. It became apparent that he had arranged the sessions due to our family dynamic not being ideal, particularly my lack of attachment to my two half-siblings aged 2 and 16 months. The therapist focused on questions about my feelings towards my deceased mother, my father, his new wife, and the half-siblings. My comment in a recent session about not considering them as my true siblings, despite their technical status as half-siblings, was what upset my father. He deemed it extremely cruel and unloving, expressing disappointment that I did not embrace the new additions to our family. My father disclosed that he discusses the therapy sessions with his wife after each one, and highlighted her hurt upon learning my sentiments towards her and the half-siblings. He urged me to work through my feelings and establish a bond with the family members. He expressed disappointment in my lack of effort and empathy towards them, suggesting my behavior made me a morally bankrupt individual. Feeling betrayed by the lack of confidentiality in therapy, I now refrain from sharing during sessions. My father and his wife are frustrated with my non-participation, citing it as a waste of money. Am I the antagonist in this situation? Not the antagonist. Your trust is shattered. Your therapist has betrayed your confidentiality, and it's important to communicate this to them and potentially report the breach. Your dad should not have access to your therapy sessions, and setting boundaries around confidentiality is crucial. It's important to advocate for your own rights and feelings in therapy, and seeking advice on legal patient confidentiality rights for minors could also be helpful in this situation. Am I the antagonist for not attending my sister-in-law's college graduation? My 29-year-old sister-in-law, Jody, will be graduating this spring with a degree related to mental health care, specifically of young adults and teenagers. She currently works at an inpatient treatment center for teenagers and young adults. On Christmas Day 2023, we accidentally discovered she was in a new relationship when a photo was shared with the family that included a mystery foot. We all noticed the foot and asked who it belonged to. Come to find out, it belonged to her boyfriend that had been living with her at her parents' house for the previous 2 weeks, roughly. Neither her or my mother-in-law, father-in-law had mentioned anything to us, myself, my wife, or my other sister-in-law, about a boyfriend or that he was living with them in their house. After more typical questioning in a tell-us-all-about-him way, we learned that he had just turned 18, was previously couch surfing with several other people, and was recently released from the treatment center that my sister-in-law works at. He was there for mental health issues, behaviors related to his recent breakup with an ex-girlfriend. We learned that he has no job, no driver's license, no actual identification to speak of, no relationship with his parents. When he, Billy, met Jody, he was 17, she was 28, and their relationship started while he was a patient at the facility she worked at. Myself, my wife, Susie and Jody's sister, Jane, are all completely against the relationship. Jody is 11 years older than him. He's now 18, she's 29. He has mental health issues. He was her patient. Now, Jody and Billy have moved into an apartment together. Jody recently posted a picture on Instagram of their first real dinner in their new apartment together, and with his face not shown in the photo, you could clearly see a bottle of alcohol, a Smirnoff, on his side of the table. So myself and the two older sisters are totally against the relationship and believe that what she's doing is a major moral and ethical violation that is potentially jeopardizing a career that she hasn't even really started. We feel like going to her graduation would be a show of support, but we don't support the choices she's making and feel like she is unfit for this career field. The parents, on the other hand, feel like we should all calm down, quit giving her a hard time, and let things settle down. They feel like we should absolutely go to her graduation. So, are we the assholes? Should we go and show our support, or should we dig in our heels and hold our position because we feel what she's doing is wrong on so many levels? She will be the first in the family to earn a college degree, and she has worked very hard for a long time to fulfill this dream. not the antagonist, and I would report this situation to the treatment center she works for and authorities. She's dating her patient, which is a huge moral and ethical issue that should not be tolerated. Even if it's technically not illegal, it sure edges awfully close to an ethical line your sister-in-law shouldn't even be skirting close to. You are morally obligated to intervene on behalf of a mentally unstable, vulnerable teenager who has been groomed. Am I the antagonist for not making more of an effort for my half-sister's wedding? My half-sister Amy, 27 years old female, is getting married in a couple of months. She's had a lot of pre-wedding build-up things going on. They had an engagement party, an engagement dinner, an extended family meeting dinner, a bridal shower, bachelorette party, and a pre-wedding dinner which is yet to happen but is happening next month. My other half-sister Lily, 25 years old female, has been super involved in all of this as Amy's maid of honor. My mother has been so excited about the wedding and my father is excited for my mom. I'm not excited and the whole pre-wedding stuff has been hell for me. I'm not wanted at the wedding and I don't have a good relationship with Amy or with Lily, but I was invited and this means a lot to my mother. I'm only going through the motions and dealing for that reason. But I'm not going out of my way to dress up all nice or get hair and makeup done professionally for everything. My hair appointment is booked for the actual wedding and I have a pretty simple style picked out. My mother asked why I wasn't getting my hair done like I did for my aunt's wedding last year, or why I was choosing a more basic style. I told her I'm not in the wedding and she said I will still be in the family photos. I asked her if she was sure about that and she said yes, absolutely. I told her I didn't need anything super fancy as a regular wedding guest. My mother brought up how unenthusiastic I am about the wedding overall and how I'm the least excited person in the room for all the events. My father said I could at least bask in the excitement like everyone else. My mother isn't happy that I'm wearing the dress I wore for my aunt's wedding either. She wants me in something new that matches with the family style Amy picked. But Amy only specified mom, our shared grandparents, our 2 shared aunts and 1 shared uncle for the family theme. My dad and I weren't included. But I know all her fiancé's family got his family style. They even made a big deal out of those dressing in the family style color. Amy went with all the women included, even on her fiancé's side, and he went with the dudes. None of this included me or my dad. For those wondering on background, Amy and Lily's dad died and then my parents got married. I'm not really sure how old Amy and Lily were when they lost their dad, but they were always clear. Dad was not their parent and I was not their sibling. And even at the family dinner thingy, people asked who I was and I was Amy's mom's daughter. Amy's fiancé said Lily is her only sibling, etc. It was also made pretty clear all the siblings on his side are included as bridesmaids and groomsmen. I wish I had a way to get out of this without upsetting my parents. My dad deals with being nobody for my mom and I think he's not just used to it, but it's okay, I'll deal. But it's harder for me and so I'm not going all out for Amy's wedding. But I can see it bothers my parents and more my mom really. It's becoming so clear I don't really care, and it's causing some conflict. Am I the asshole? Not the antagonist. It's pretty clear that you're not their sibling, and they seem to have voiced that feeling enough. I wouldn't bother with something if I wasn't wanted either. The bit that really matters is the wedding itself, turning up and supporting them. And no, that doesn't mean you also have to engage in tomfoolery of all sorts. Be smart, be nice, job done. No need for new outfits and all that jazz. Am I the antagonist for telling my family that this ancient geriatric mom has no time for their jealousy? Until me, anyone in my family who had kids did so by the time they were 27. Generally 21 was when my family members started having children. My parents were 19 when they started having kids. Their parents were about the same age as well, and my siblings all had kids before 25. They also finish having children in their 20s and they are very conscious of that. I, 39 years old female, was the exception. I wasn't married or having kids in my 20s. This was something my family all highly judged me for because they knew I did want to have children. They all told me I was going to be so ancient when I had them, and they made a big deal about me being too old for having children and not being fair to the kids because I'll be old while they'll still be young, and how much better it is to be active and capable of running around after them, and to be the active grandma when they have kids, etc. It was really toxic, and my husband, who was only a boyfriend at the time, was stunned by the attitudes of my family. I had told him how they were, but it really takes hearing the stuff they spew for it to sink in. I didn't feel ready in my 20s despite my family's norm. We never had a lot, and financially it was a struggle. I saw my siblings struggling and aunts, uncles, cousins, etc. That's what was normal, and part of that was they were all so young and having these bigger families, 5-7 kids average, and I personally think waiting would have helped that some. But do I judge them? No, I just wanted something different. I'm glad I waited. I had my 3 children at 33, 35, and 36 years old, and we are in a good place to raise them. I went low contact with my family for several years because the comments were no longer okay with me and they couldn't respect my decision to wait. The number of ancient and geriatric comments I got were crazy, and I was 29 when I went low contact. Recently, my siblings and my parents, to a lesser degree, have been accusing me of rubbing their noses in vacations I take with my husband and kids and the gifts we buy. One of my sisters said her kids were mad that my oldest had their birthday party at the trampoline park and they never get to go. She told me I was really making all my nieces and nephews feel bad about it. My mom told me I act so much better than them by taking my kids on vacations at such a young age instead of having them wait until adulthood like we all had to. The messages annoyed me until I decided to make a group chat, and I wrote to them that this ancient geriatric mom has no time for their jealousy and that I was not going to apologize for the decisions I made to wait or to enjoy being able to treat my kids. I told them if they could not stop, low contact would become no contact. They accused me of taunting them and lashing out unnecessarily. Am I the jerk? Not the antagonist. They are judgmental as hell and jealous too. You made your choices, they made theirs. You waited until you were ready and happy to have children, not rushing due to some arbitrary age. Now they're jealous and try to make you feel bad for having a trampoline birthday, but that's their problem, not yours. Just keep doing you and go LC with them if needed. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.